So you can complete these on your own. The answers are on the bottom here, so make sure you're checking your answers as you go. So there's solutions here. When you do some of these, it is a good idea to simplify these fractions first. So in this case, 10 over 14 should be simplified to 5 over 7. 9 over 12 can be simplified to 12. So there's a few others in here that we can simplify before we do it. Okay, so it's not a must do, but it's a should do. So here we have some word problems. Harold fertilizes his lawn and garden 4 times a year. He uses 10 bags of fertilizer during the year. So how many bags of fertilizer does he use each time? Okay, so I have 10 bags of fertilizer, and that's going to be divided into 4 times a year. So how many bags of fertilizer does he use? Well, he uses 10/4, but we can simplify that first of all, and then we can convert it into an improper fraction. So we're going to simplify that to 5 over 2. So we're going to divide by 2, and then converting this to a mixed number, we know that 2 goes into 5 2 times with 1 left over. So we have 2 plus the extra 1/2 left over, or 2.5 bags of fertilizer each time. Doris and her 2 friends were given 10 cakes left over from the carnival. So they want to share these 10 cakes. So there are going to be 10 cakes, and it's going to be shared with 3 people. So we want to convert this into an mixed number, this improper fraction to mixed number. So we're going to divide 3 into 10, so we get 3. So everyone gets 3 whole cakes, but there's going to be 1 cake left over. So we're going to divide that 1 cake into 1/3, so everyone gets 3 1/3 cakes. Okay, so again, we're going to do division here, which indicates it's a fraction, and the numerator is bigger than the denominator. We have an improper fraction. When we're talking about improper fractions and mixed numbers, we have to be very careful of the negatives. And we have to remember that again, that 7 7/10 means 7 plus 7/10. When we have a negative, this means that this number, 3 1/4, the whole number is negative. Okay, not just the 3 is negative, but the whole number is negative. So we're going to end up with the negative number of 3 1/4. So when we do the calculation, converting into a mixed number, if we did this, if we just did negative 3 times 10, and then we added the 7, we would get negative 23 over 10. Well, negative 23 over 10 is not the same as negative 3. That's going to be 2 3/10. That's not the same thing. So we have to make sure that we do not treat this negative as just negative 3 and then treat this as a positive 7/10. That would be incorrect. So we should treat this as a negative number of 3 7/10. So we need to work out the improper fraction first, and we worry about tag on the negative after. So this becomes the negative. We're going to do 30 plus 7 over 10. So this ends up being negative 37 over 10. And that is more like it. Negative 3 7/10, the same as negative 37 1/10 pieces. So it's really important that you keep this in mind. When we have a negative mixed number, just don't multiply and add, because we're going to end up with the wrong answer. So we do the 5 times 4 plus 3 first, and then we include the negative. So this is going to be negative 23 over 4. And then once we have done that, we can kind of get rid of these brackets. Okay. So the same thing here, we're going to keep the negative on the outside. We get 8 plus 1 over 4. And this becomes negative 9/4. Okay, if we did negative 8 plus 1, we would end up with negative 7/4, which is incorrect. So 13 times 17 13 times 17, I can't do that in my head, so I'm going to do 21. So 51 plus 170. We're going to end up with 221. So this is going to be negative of 221 plus 12 all over 17. Okay, so this becomes negative, when I add that together, 233 over 17. And the negative could be at the front. Okay, that's the same as having the negative at the top. And if we really want, we could put the negative on the bottom. That's not really recommended, but it does mean the same thing. So negative 233 over 17 is same as negative 233 over 17, which is same as positive 233 over negative 17. And those are all equivalent to each other.